everybody, and welcome to Movie Tribute. And today is kind of a special day because today is our first double-digit episode. Today is episode number 10.
Yeah, double digits.
Yeah, we're starting the double digits. And I don't know if you noticed by the title or not, but today we are actually going to be reviewing Grave Encounters and Grave Encounters 2 today.
Awesome movies.
These are two really good horror films, I would personally say. But let's go ahead and get started with what Grave Encounters is. Well, Grave Encounters, it's this ghost hunting reality show. The production crew locks themselves into an abandoned mental hospital that's supposedly haunted, and it might prove to all be true. I first saw this when Dylan actually showed me a couple clips, and then I actually turned around and watched me, Dylan, and Shayna was a part of our group that watched it with us. So let's go ahead and start with Dylan. Dylan, how did you initially come across this movie?
Well, I'd seen it way before y'all had. I'd heard about it like a long time ago, and I think I saw the trailer for it. It was like back then when I first started YouTube. I did a video on it and all that stuff. And I said the trailer. I figured I had this movie pinpointed out, but I said it still looked like a fun by the numbers, found footage film. Like, I got this movie pinpoint, and the lady in the hallway, she's gonna be like near like the last 10 to 15 minutes, and it's just gonna go off the walls then. But I got this movie pinpointed out, so I saw the trailer for it. I was like, you know what? I would watch this. I like found footage films. I watched it. I started the film at 11:30 at night, so it was 12 o'clock, of course, when it really kicked in. And let me tell you, I thought the film was highly terrifying because it was much more than what I was expecting. What I thought I was going to get is not what I ended up getting in the first Grave Encounters, and I loved that for it. It was just, it kept me on the edge of my seat, and I was like, you know what, at first I was like, this is a really cool movie because it was I like the first half of it because it's mocking the television shows, like Ghost Hunters and all that stuff, and making fun of it and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that. But then once it actually starts getting scary, it really flips the whole, it kind of flips it on its head and gives a couple of twists and turns that I did not see coming, and therefore I really enjoy this film. While it's not a perfect film, the first film has got some serious problems. It's definitely a scary film, and I really enjoyed it for that. So yeah, and that's why I told you guys that y'all need to watch it.
Yes, very good movie. Should I go next, or?
Yeah, go ahead, JC. You go next.
Okay. So, like Dylan, I watched this movie late at night. It was exactly 2:37 when I started this last Thursday, and yeah, I was pretty scared by the end of it. It's not one of those movies that absolutely made me cling to my seat, but if I was ever going to be scared by movies, then it would probably be found footage, just because I like the whole premise of actually being on the edge of my seat waiting for the next ghost attack to happen, which is why I love the Paranormal Activity movies. So Josh already explained it, and what I'd say about the first one is what I'd say about both of them is I love that the Vicious brothers, the director of this, have only made 2 movies, and that is Grave Encounters. They have made no other movies except Grave Encounters. That is hilarious. That's awesome in my opinion. And if I was going to choose a horror place to visit, it would be a toss between East Collingwood, which it actually isn't a real place, but the Mental Institute, that would be one of the places I'd visit, or the Amityville Horror. That would be the other place I'd visit. There's not really, probably my 2 cents will get in when other people start talking about stuff, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I totally agree with that. But that's pretty much all I have to say for now, so someone else can take it.
All right, go, Shayna. You're up.
I'm muted.
Yeah, because you have that echo going on.
I can't help it.
Only unmute yourself when you get ready to talk.
Okay.
Everyone else will mute themselves.
All right, well, I was bullied into watching this movie. Okay, not really, a little bit. But I don't know. I wanted to watch it because I love scary movies and I just love that adrenaline rush. And this movie definitely did that. There's I watched it like really late, like everybody else, and it scared the crap out of me. My dogs would like make me jump. But I don't know. I like the quality of it really too. I don't know. I just like feels of certain films, and this definitely had a feel where I was like, yes.
All right, let's go ahead and go with Dan. What did you think of the first movie?
To be honest, I think it's first I watched it the same night as you and Dylan, and to be honest, I think the movie is scary, but I feel like the beginning is a little boring, and it took a while for me to get into, but when it gets to the scares, it's really scary, and I really liked it. And here's the thing: there's like a lot of found footage films out there, and this is kind of on par with Paranormal Activity. Even though I'll say I'm more of a Paranormal Activity fan to the movies, but this was actually a pretty good movie. I liked it. But I think, to be honest, I think the first Paranormal Activity is better. But I still like this. Yeah.
Well, since we're comparing them, I'm just going to say I love the Grave Encounter series way better than the Paranormal Activity series.
Wow. See, I like Paranormal Activity. Grave Encounters I could like more if the first film didn't have tremendously awful acting going on. Luckily, it was improved. It was...
Can I get
it was
my 2 cents in
improved.
first?
Oh yeah.
The acting was better in the second one.
There's this
I
guy
agree.
named Josh. I totally forgot this guy named Josh.
We'll pick this conversation up when he's done.
Okay, I'm going to put my 2 cents in here before it gets too out of craziness, because I knew this was going to come up, the paranormal Grave Encounters thing. I'm going to say I love Paranormal Activity. It's my favorite horror story, horror trilogy, horror whatever, series that went on. Grave Encounters I'm gonna say it's my second favorite, just because it actually scared me. Like, I saw Insidious.
Yes.
That did not scare me. I saw Sinister. Sinister was actually pretty good. I think I'm going to be doing a Sinister review here soon, but I did like Sinister, and I did see Paranormal Activity 4, and I love that one. It didn't live up to the other ones, but like the comparison between Paranormal Activity and Grave Encounters, I'm going to say I love Paranormal Activity series more over Grave Encounters, but I'm going to say Grave Encounters is going to be my second favorite series. Alright, now we can go ahead and go on to the debate.
First of all, Insidious is phenomenal, you guys. Do not listen to Josh. He does not know what he's talking
I saw
about.
this coming.
Second of all, I will defend that movie till the day I die. Let me tell you guys, I really enjoyed the first Grave Encounters. The scares for me were up there. They were out of this world. I thought they were terrifying. However, it's very low budget. It's very indie. The special effects are not on point, which is what I loved. Jay-Z, which is what I loved about Part 2, is because Part 2 actually makes fun of the special effects that are presented. And what I think is interesting is they make fun of it, but the movie does not change the special effects. It's the exact same effects, which is kind of cool in a way. It's the exact same effects. And I thought that was really neat because like there's a sequence with hands in the first one. I thought that was really cheap. It could have been effective if the special effects were a little bit more on point and the acting was just tremendously awful, but the scares were on point, and there was a twist about halfway. I think it's that twist about halfway into the first film, which is the reason why I think Grave Encounters was a successful horror film, because that twist is what made you think, oh crap, this might be one of those found footage films that goes above out there, like goes out there, and it does go out there. It shows a lot of stuff. They get a lot of stuff, and there's some really cool scares. The scariest part for me involved the tongue in the first film. That
was funny.
God, tore me up. Tore me up.
I like the part where he commits suicide.
Yeah,
The long guy.
yeah.
My favorite
And
part of the first film, I would probably say, was the freaking girl in the corner. Holy crap! I seriously had my blanket. I don't have my blanket with me, but like I had my blanket on like one side, my pillow on the other. I was just like, oh no!
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
I was so freaked out at that part.
yeah. You got a favorite part, Dan?
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know if I have a favorite part. Maybe because, to be honest, I think, like I said, I think the first one's just okay. It's good, but maybe the same thing what Josh said. That was pretty creepy.
You, Shayna? You got a part that sticks out to you? Without really spoiling it?
No, we can
Not
spoil.
without spoiling it.
We can spoil.
But the part that Josh said was good. Oh, and the tongue thing.
Oh, the tongue tore me up. I was like, it was a little stolen from like Last Exorcism, but it was done in such a perfect way that I definitely let that slide, because it was just oh my god. And I think that's like the first real, like, I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh yeah, it just got real.
Probably my favorite part of the movie is when Lance, the last guy, goes crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty
That
awesome.
whole last ending is amazing.
Yeah, that was really tense when he's walking around in the dark and he's looking around the corners and each hallways. That was on the edge. But yeah, should we just rate this one and then go into the second one? This is what happens.
Yeah,
We're
let's
just
do
gonna
that.
kinda, like, cut
Yeah.
this review
Wait,
short because we're doing
Wait.
two.
We haven't introduced our new system yet. Oh,
Oh yeah,
snaps. We haven't introduced that.
snaps. We have a new system, you guys.
Wait. Before we introduce the new system, it doesn't really quite apply to this movie because we started this new system after this movie.
Well,
But
I watched it. I watched it here recently.
but-
I just watched it last
I
week.
could estimate. I could easily estimate.
Yeah.
But we're going to estimate on this first one. But this new review system, we're actually going to give it a rating, and then we're going to give it an O snap rating. And what an O snap rating is how many times in your head or out loud have you said "Oh snap" while watching a movie? So with this movie, I'm going to probably give it a 3.8 out of 5 and an estimate about 15 O snaps.
Mm.
All right, let's go ahead and start with Dan. 'Cause we're just going to go left to right.
I'll give it the same rating as you, and
Okay.
with the O snaps.
Okay.
Dylan.
All right. Here's the thing. I said this in my review a long time ago, and I still feel the same about it. I think the scares for a low-budget horror film are like a 4.5 out of 5. But the acting and some of its problems are so noticeable that I would say I gave the film a 3.5 out of 5. So that's, I mean, there's some serious flaws in the first film, but I still applaud it for being a low-budget, successful found footage film. So I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I would also say my O snap meters would be maybe like a 12. There were some serious O snaps towards the end of the film. That whole twist in the middle way was just one giant O snap for me.
Josh, look at the chat.
So yeah, about 12 O snaps moments where I was just thinking in my head like, whoa, O snap.
Okay, for me, I'm gonna give the movie a. I'm gonna do the same as Dylan and give it a 3.5 because the acting is not perfection, and although that's kind of what I like about the found footage, it's kind of low budget, but there's a point in time when it gets too low budget. So yeah, 3.5, and probably 8 O snaps. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay, and last
Okay, Shayna.
but not least, Shayna.
Okay, so I really want to give it a 4 out of 5.
Go,
But
go.
that's pushing it. Well, because I know like the acting definitely was not par, but that's also like what JC said. I kind of like that about it.
Yeah.
And being like in this business where I'm doing this independent stuff, I totally respect it. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. And like 13 O snaps because There were some hide in my face moments.
I'm with you there.
And I don't jump. I usually never jump. I always expect it, but it got me good.
Yeah.
All right. So that is 3.7 out of 5. Apparently, I miscounted. It's actually a 3.8 out of 5 according to Josh Gilbert's time.
Are we going to do like an overall rating?
I thought that was the overall rating.
That is the overall rating.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's go ahead and get into Grave Encounters 2. Now, Grave Encounters 2 came out a few years, or 1 year after Grave Encounters 1. And this time, a film student is obsessed with the first movie and sets out with his friends to visit the mental institute that the first movie took place in because they want to find out if it's real or not. There is a twist at the very, very end with the main character, but I'm not going to say anything. Who just left us? Dan. Okay.
Dan Belfis.
He'll be back. But yeah, so let's go ahead and review this first one, and we're actually going to start with Dylan on this one.
All right. I think this is interesting because I'm a fellow YouTuber, and the main character is a fellow YouTuber, and I just thought this movie was tongue-in-cheek to everyone who does what I do, literally talking to a camera about horror films, about movies in general, and read your YouTube comments and stuff like that. So I already thought the whole story and the premise and the whole first act of this film was really, really funny, really tongue-in-cheek. And, the first film was mocking, what was it? The first film was mocking, Ghost Grave Encounters. I think this one was kind of mocking, the media in a sense, the YouTube, because it opens up this awesome YouTube montage of some YouTubers giving the review of the first film, and it goes into our characters' review. I thought that was really cool. A little bit of the jealous bug hit me, but besides that, I thought the first act of this film was really cool. And the acting was actually pretty good. There was a lot of good laughs, a lot of humor in it. It actually took longer to get into the scares than the first film. Yeah, and I will admit, I like this film a lot more than the first film. While I will admit, though, I do think the first film is scarier. The plot takes it for a real twist, and I think that this film is what the Blair Witch 2 should have been. People are like, this sounds exactly like the Blair Witch 2. This is not a good thing. Let me tell you, if the Blair Witch 2 had been executed correctly, it would have been done in this manner. This film is actually really, really good, and there's a lot of really cool, neat tricks that they pull up here, and the plot is really... Well, actually, let me not say the plot, because I actually learned something today about plot in a film term standpoint. The story or the synopsis of this film is actually really, really awesome, and it really just takes it on a wild goose chase. And I loved it.
JC.
Okay. Grave Encounters 2, what I loved about it is that they brought Lance back. He is not dead. Lance was one of the main characters, or I would say the main character from the first movie, and at the very end it basically shows him going crazy, losing all of his brains and everything. And Grave Encounters 2 opens up, as Dylan said, with the horror guru being obsessed with the movie and wanting to basically go there and discover it. So when they go there, they find that security guards are coming, and they're like, okay, well, you can't be around here, you can't film tapes. And so they sneak in the building and actually meet Lance Preston, which he is absolutely crazy. He's drinking out of toilet water, and to me, that's the craziest thing you can do. So I will say this, though, he does have quite a bit of sanity left, considering, he knows about all the mazes and everything that the Institute has to offer. So he's a lot smarter than you'd expect him to be after 9 years in this place. And throughout the movie, it basically goes and they get out of, or one of them gets out of there. And I'm not going to spoil that too much for you because it's a very big spoiler. But it's a very big twist. And before I let the next person go, I will say this. The movie, for the first, I'd say, 30 minutes, is absolutely boring. There's literally nothing happening. I felt like I was watching a movie about partying rather than a horror movie. It was absolutely boring. When they finally start, it probably got interesting for me once they started interviewing Lance's mom. And yeah, with that, I will let it go to Dan.
Okay, Grave Encounters 2 was 1,000 times better than the first one. The acting was better. I felt like the beginning was better. Dylan was joking about the main character is Dylan. I'm pretty sure Dylan, didn't we joke around how much the main characters like you? And it's just I thought it was scarier. I cared about the characters a little bit more in this second one, and I liked how they showed Lance, and he was actually kind of looked like a badass in this one when they showed him, like when his gear was on and everything. And I felt like I don't know, it was just 100 times better, and I really enjoyed it a lot more than the first one. So yeah, it was good.
All right, Shanna, you're up.
Okay, I actually heard about this movie before the first one because of Dylan, and he was right. A lot of the people in the movie like reflect or mirror half the people that are in this right now. But I definitely like this one a lot better, even though it wasn't as scary. The acting was better, and I don't know, you just seemed to care more. And I don't think the beginning was that boring. It kind of like goes with the theme of the movie anyways. With the whole cliche, like, it fits.
It does.
So I will argue that point.
Alright, so let me go ahead and do mine. I'm going to agree with JC on the first like half hour was pretty boring. It wasn't like it was I would say it's a lot like 500 million times better than Cosmopolis over the whole entire movie.
Yes. If you go to just watch the first 15 minutes rather than Cosmopolis, you're doing the world a favor.
But yes, I mean the first 30 minutes it was kind of boring. Yes, I understand like it's YouTube and yes you can relate to it, but it's still pretty boring when you're watching someone else do it. And then it starts picking up, but right when it picks up, I mean, you're in for scare after scare, especially with the freaking security guard. I was not expecting him to be there. They were like, oh yeah, we're going, and then, hold up! And the security guard comes running over. I'm like, oh, snap.
Oh, snap. There we go.
And then there is a plot twist. I mean, I will say this. They do escape.
They do.
I'll leave it with that.
In fact,
will give
every last one of them escapes.
It gives them,
including the original cast.
I'm trying
gives
to
them closure.
Words for this.
Closure.
It is scarier, or parts of it are scarier than the first one, but then there are a lot more scares in the first one than the second one, just because of that 30-minute window in the front. I am going to give this...
I do, yeah.
I'm going to actually rate this film a 4 out of 5 with about 9 O-snaps.
I'm going to rate it a 4 out of 5 with 10 O-snaps.
I'm going to give it a... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dylan.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 with 9 O-snaps.
Well, for me, I think this was a perfect sequel. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 with... I don't know how, maybe, I'll give the O snaps same as, Dylan, whatever, I don't know.
Okay, Shayna?
4 out of 5 with 7 O snaps.
Alright, and there you have it. Please check out Grave Encounters. I mean, it's a great series. If you're a paranormal activity lover, go check out this film. If you're a horror movie buff, anything, if you like horror movies, go check out this film.
If you're a found footage lover.
And
definitely.
Found footage lovers. You have to love found footage and horror movies in order to like this film.
If you like campy movies.
What?
Oh, leave, Shayna, leave.
I like campy movies. Thank you. Troll 2, all the way.
I just want to say something real quick. The plot, you just don't know how. See, we're giving those snap meters a little lower, but the plot, you guys, is so freaking awesome that it's so cool. Is why the second is so much better.
Yes.
By the end of the film, by the end of the film, I was just like, now that was original.
It was.
That
it really
was good. I was like, that was good. It didn't even have to be scary, and I would be interested in seeing this. It could have been a documentary style, done in this type of way, and I would have been like, that was cool. Because it was a really, really cool story, you guys. And I think it is what the Blair Witch 2 tried to be, and is what the Blair Witch 2 failed at. Grave Encounters got right.
Grave Encounters 2, just the story is 10 times better. The first one, it's like, okay, well, this is interesting enough to make me scared and get it there. But then the second one, it was like, it comes at you with so many twists.
Yeah, and I never thought I'd say this, and I would actually like to see a Grave Encounters 3.
I have thought about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to see it, like, because here's the thing. I'm going to say another spoiler, so if you don't, then mute your thing. Lance could still be alive. It's still a possibility. He could still be in the third movie if they decided to make one. It never said that they killed him. He just happened to disappear. So yeah, that one is possible, although I don't know if it's Jamaica.
I want more. I think Grave Encounters 3, kind of for me, is I want to learn more about the actual asylum and the doctor itself. It doesn't have to be a complete, it doesn't have to be a prequel in the sense of like but I do want some sort of like origin story. It doesn't have to be a prequel.
I kind of feel like the asylum is the adult version of Monster House.
Yes. There's a lot of like, I can see some references to that.
I'd want to see a third one. I guess it's not a sequel. A third one, but then I wouldn't at the same time.
They would definitely. I would want them to step up their A game. Not just the
What
plot.
I would love to see is more of the cameras just kind of showing off their own thing. Like, have, like, maybe Lance filming another movie himself from the inside of it. I think that would be an interesting premise for them to do. Because he knows all this stuff because he's lived there for 9 years. He could literally go through and tell everyone everything about it. He could show them everything. He could tell them about the brain doctor and everything. So what you are wanting, Dylan, it could be possible. They could explain it in a realistic fashion, or as real as ghosts can get.
Yeah, without technically having to say, okay, if we're going to do an origin story, we have to make it a prequel. I mean, you can just...
I think, keep talking.
Yeah, I think if you can just find a way to bring Lance back, which is easily possible, I think. His character's not completely out of the cards. He just went off into some area. I think if you can bring him back in some sort of way and have him, in a sense, like, I think by now, I'm just going to say spoiler, I think by now half the people who are, if you're watching this by now, you've most likely seen the film, because we've spoiler alert this whole video, basically. But I think
we need to start putting a spoiler alert warning before our videos.
Yeah, or in the title or something like that. Spoiler heavy.
Spoilers, darling.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to see, I think Grave Encounters 2, I'm thinking that Lance Preston needs to get out and then be interviewed. And maybe actually when he went to that realm, he brought maybe something back with him. Or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just going off the top of my head.
I am wanting a Grave Encounters 3 more and more with every second you talk to me.
Yeah, I'd be down for Grave Encounters 3. They'd have to sit down and actually think of a plot. I don't want it to get too Paranormal Activity-ish with the plot.
I think we should pitch this plot to them.
Yeah.
Yes, we should.
We should make
The
law
reason
and
I
it's
don't think another Grave Encounters 3 would work is because unless they do what we are saying right now and make Lance have his own interview, his own everything, then it would be kind of drab to me. Okay, because otherwise it's just going to be another group trying to prove that the first two movies were real.
Yeah.
Okay, because the second one is like, oh, well, maybe this was real. We should go check it out. However, the third one would be like, oh, well, maybe it's real. We should go check it out. It wouldn't be original by then. It would be completely dead.
However,
So it would have to be Lance.
Yeah, however, I'm dying to see a horror film where they actually, and I'm kind of wishing, and I'm hoping that they'll do this with the Paranormal Activity series, is they'll actually kill the demonic force. Like, kill the demon. Actually make a building not stay haunted for forever. That would be so cool. I would like to see, okay, this building was haunted for 150 years, but we got to see it up to the point where it was no longer haunted.
That would be so original, it would be unreal.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because with every horror movie, what they want to do is they want to leave it open for another sequel.
Yes, they want to leave it
With
open. They want to leave the
Brothers,
audience, yes.
Close it off, make your money, and deal with it. Make another series.
You know, Wes Craven wrote Nightmare on Elm Street, and he closed it from the first one, but the studio told him to make an open ending.
Exactly.
And that's all that happened there.
Yeah.
Yes, but I will say, if anyone could close off the series, it would be the Bishop Brothers.
Yes.
Because they don't have very many movies. This is their only movie series. They could do it if they want it.
And I want to see more from these guys. I want them to see
Yeah,
them.
me too.
I want to see them. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying. I agree. I want to see more from these guys too.
I do, but I'd say they could finish this off first.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have a question. Does anyone know if the Grave Encounter movies were in theaters?
They were.
Yeah.
They were
Okay.
limited release.
I wasn't sure if they just went to DVD or what. So,
Yeah.
good to know.
They were limited release and video on demand. I unfortunately never got to see them in theaters. I saw them on demand. Which they're good on demand, but I think they would, if you could find a theater to go see these films in whenever they came out, I mean, that would have been the best route to go, because found footage films I always think are warranted for theaters.
I propose something to Hollywood while we're on this topic. Make a movie theater where you can bring your own movies and have the movie play. Just do that, and I think you would make a lot of money. Make a person be able to rent their own movie theater room for a day, or just for a couple of hours, to watch their movie. Do that, and you'd make a lot of money. Okay, go back to what you're talking.
That needs to happen.
Actually, it does happen. No, just not in big cities. Like back home where I live, you can actually rent out theaters, and they'll actually show the films that are playing. Companies will actually rent them out, and they'll actually show the films that are playing. Like, I think Food Line will rent them out. Flo will rent out the whole theater for a business thing, and it'll be like a family day where families can take their kids. They can choose whether they go bowling or skating or watch a movie for the whole day and stuff like that. It's really neat. But bigger cities are afraid to do that, I think, because, they don't want to lose profit on new releases.
That, and there'd be a lot of demand for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Enough about this. Let's get back on Grave Encounters.
But yeah, so Grave Encounters, 2, yes, it was better than the first one. Would I like to see a third one? Yes, but yeah, they have to be cautious of what they actually put into the film itself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a plot and I'm gonna send it to them.
Because like with the paranormal, like, I don't want it to turn into another paranormal.
I was gonna say that earlier.
Where I don't want it to go to the extent of milking the storyline, such as like with Paranormal Activity 4, it didn't quite live up to the other 3 movies just because you've seen it before in other films, and
Lots
yes,
of stairs.
It had its stairs, but still, like, it didn't live up to the other films.
Exactly. I like Paranormal Activity 4. I'm a huge Paranormal Activity fan, and my 2 cents is I think Paranormal Activity is better than this. But I do think the fourth film was sort of like, just another. It was like it didn't really it didn't move the story anywhere.
It kind of
Really,
moved the
it
story.
moved it, but it didn't move it enough in a sense like, okay, did we really need this type of film? It was like they basically told us what happened after the events of part 2, and they didn't decide to tell us anything else. They decided to give us more freaking questions.
Yeah.
I was very upset about that.
Okay, here's what I want. I want you to make this one and close it off.
I think we're
Honest-
starting to get off topic with other.
I think they're gonna make 6. After seeing the 4th, they're probably gonna make 6.
We're getting so off topic.
We are, Barry.
Okay, so we're just actually going to end it here just because we're going way off topic. I mean, we're probably going to have just like a chat episode at some point where we're just going to chat about different movies and go off subject to everything. But that's going to be on a later episode, so stay tuned. Just please subscribe to us at the top. Subscribe to us as well as comment. Give us a thumbs up. We would love to hear from you. A question before you guys leave is... It's the month of October. It's Frighttober. It's the month of horror. We have seen Paranormal Activity 4. We have seen Grave Encounters 1 and 2. We have seen Sinister.
I have, and I'm going to see it hopefully Tuesday.
What movie are you guys going to see that's going to scare your butts off? I'm going to leave you with that. Comment answers below. We would love to hear from you. You could also make just a video response for us. But yeah, you got Dan with us from Danny Boy Movies. We have Dylan from Slasher Movie Reviews.
Who's gonna go watch Insidious?
We have JC from JC Riddle II. Dana from Just Misguided Ghosts. And then you have me from Josh Gill Vlogs. Please subscribe to all of us individually if you want to see our individual reviews.
Goodbye, everyone.
And we will see you all later.